but Jane Griffin from Waverley Care needs to get home, and it's a wee while, and obviously the Saatchi and Saatchi fire alarm lot did delay us slightly, and no, I don't understand the rules either. So I'm just going to take my part, which was about Waverley Care, from my final speech, and just say Waverley Care were fully involved at the event, turning out in force, and we're delighted that they had such a good time and that we could raise money to support their cause. You, as our nominated charity, are a vital part of the Compulsion experience, and I'm sure everyone would like to show their support and appreciation, and if Jane would like to come up and say a few words, that would be a delight. And Jane, I can tell you, once you're on stage, Compulsion earned for our charity auction and all the other charity events this year £2,229.25.
To say really briefly, and I'm trying not to talk too loud because I've got a bit of a throat infection. How important this is for us at Waverley Care. As you can imagine, HIV is such a stigmatised virus, and people living with it have to live with a big secret, particularly our children and families group that we've been working with this week because we've had a play scheme. And I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what that amount equates to. And just to give you an idea of the importance of it, it equates to roughly one of our groups getting away for a summer holiday. For our kids, they come from poor background usually, and their parents are struggling with other problems, can't always afford to do lots of fun stuff with them during the holidays. And one of the youngsters said to us last week that he was looking forward to summer this year because last year he got to go away on holiday for the first time ever. And before that he always hated going back to school because the teacher always said, what you could write in your newsbooks, what did you do in the holidays, and he never did anything. And this year he's actually looking forward to it, so it means such a great deal to have the support of you guys this weekend and to actually have funded that for some of our kids. So thank you very much, we do really appreciate it. Thank you all.
Invite my partner in crime, Greg, to the stage.
Hi everybody. Hello. I've just got 3 things to get through here. The first thing is to say I've been trying to hand out some copies of this role-playing game, Modern Day Deities, and it's just to say, and I want to put on record, that the guys from Aberdeen would come down and they would run games here and they'd have a great time. And for people like me that have been coming to the con for a number of years, you get to know these guys really well. And a few years ago, Matt King, who was behind that game, tragically died of cancer. And Matt was such a friendly guy, and he was so loving of other gamers, and gamers were so loving of Matt. And really, the guys from Aberdeen had come down with a whole bunch of the books, and so if you didn't get a book, please do take one away with you. And Matt, you live on in your words. The next thing I have to announce are the Griffies. It's the second year for the Griffies, and we had 5 excellent finalists in the role-playing product Griffie this year. We had Dungeon World, Eternal Contenders, Knights Black Agents, Primeval and Squadron UK. There were a lot of votes. We had more votes this year than last, and it was quite an astounding number of votes collected, so thanks to Jamie for going round and making sure that so many people voted. It was an excellent bunch of candidates. There was many great games didn't make the list. It showed to me just how vibrant role-playing still is. It's new games are coming out all the time, and the winner this year was Dungeon World by Sage Cobalt Productions. from Dungeon World are in Vancouver and Seattle, so they can't be here with us today. But they did tweet this morning that they had foreseen their victory. So, well done to them. In the board game product, Griffey, we had, again, 5 excellent nominees. There was other games, again, unfortunately didn't make the list, but it was such a strong list. And I'd really like to thank Sasha for really picking out some excellent candidates for this list for me. And that's really great, Sasha, thanks. The nominees were Android Netrunner from Fantasy Flight Games, Article 27 from Stronghold Games, Doctor Who card game from Pupil 7, The Palaces of Carrara from Seaman Games, and Solkin, the Mayan calendar from Rio Grande. Again, there was lots of votes in this category, but there was one hugely runaway winner, and I don't think it will be much of a surprise to anyone that voted that it was Android Netrunner that won. Again, Richard Garfield can't be here with us today.
Slacker!
And I'll make sure that he gets the certificate and Griffey miniature with the same speed I've got it to Ian Lawson from last year. So my final duty is to announce the Banco Award. So the Banco is this wonderful quaich that symbolises the spirit of Scottish gaming. Every year we hand it out to someone who is truly worthy of being recognised for their work in Scottish gaming, however that is. Every year it's more votes in the secret shadowy cabal vote on these things, mainly because the cabal grows by one every year with the previous year's winner. And so this year it was particularly thoughtful, the messages that we'd all sent around each other to think about who was going to win the award for this year. And if you look around you, if you look at your fellow gamers, we're out there running games, we're out there playing games, we're out there talking about it on the internet, talking about it in shops like Black Lion and Games Hub. We're writing letters into magazines, we're doing podcasts, and I think gaming is only as vibrant as the fact that we as gamers communicate with each other. And so, this year, we were coming up with a candidate that really embodies the Spartacus of gaming. That guy. Craig.
What?
Genuinely surprised, so I'll give him some time to compose himself. And I'll just say that Craig, as a young man, can be found on some of these pictures here, when he had dreadlocks and was hanging about the basement of Flip.
Already here.
And Craig, has run games for so many of us. He's played in games. He's been such a vibrant member of the community here. I well remember his letters into Last Province magazine. He's well known by his icon, which looks nothing like an RPG net. He's play tested so many games, and he really represents all of you. Perhaps he looks somewhat different from all of you, but he does represent all of you. And so really, I feel that Craig, you now join the list of people who exemplify the spirit of Scottish gaming. I give you the Banco.
This actually happened. like the time I met J.K. Rowling at the airport, I didn't think to get a photo, so that it could. I was quite jet lagged, which is about how I feel now. And also,
publications, and also thankful, grateful, to the people who voted, and to the people who just applauded, and to the people who aren't yelling disapproval. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I don't actually have a line that follows that, which proves that I am indeed unaccustomed to public speaking. I'm kind of shaking. Yes, thank you. And I'll get off the stage now because I'm frightened. So, before we get Phil's speech to end, if I can ask Liam to come up. Liam! Liam! You've got to announce the winners of your competition.
This is as organised as I get. 15 years I've been doing this, and I'm still, you know.
Liam O'Connor.
Wow, I know how you feel. I'm not nearly as honoured as you are. Fantastic. Craig really does deserve that award as well. Craig's absolutely brilliant. So, it's our 15th birthday in October, and you may have heard that we're doing lots and lots of stuff. One of the things we did was run some competitions, and in, you know, the traditional style of my shop, I'm about as disorganised as I can be. So, does anyone have a four-sided dice, so as I can find out who won my competition? I was actually marking it out there as it was going on. God. Right, people. So, I'd like to say only 6 people handed in answer sheets. I'm very disappointed. You can answer most of these on the internet. I thought you people were connected. Oh, you have one. It's too late. So,
You didn't tell me ahead of time.
I did. 3 o'clock. So, the winner who got the most questions right was Caroline Steadham. She scored 34 points, which is amazing. Okay, and the person who found all 15 lines is Faye Sutherland. Caroline wins a £15 gift voucher and a 15% discount for the next 15 weeks. There's a theme running here. And the other one is Adam Pryor wins the prize, the random prize for answering 15 or more questions. Is Adam here? No. So, it's our 15th birthday. If you want to know more about what's coming on, come to the shop. I have tons of flyers about everything we're doing. Lots of free events, lots of fun events, lots of silly stuff. It's going to be awesome. And then in October, we're going to have a huge birthday party like we did for our 10th. And that's going to be even better than what we're doing just now. So, if you want to know more, get in touch. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on the internet. You know where we are. Come and say hello. Thank you very much.
Could I say also about modern day deities, which Greg also introduced? Any of our guests, especially ones who've travelled, if you could take some copies with you, so that they can go in conventions and go for charity for this, because it's a great book and it's a really, really good cause, and therefore charity would be fantastic as well. But here I am then. Final speech. That's That's what it says at the top. Yet again, here I am to tie up the loose ends, to offer thanks to all and sundry, and to try and keep things short. 4 pages. I did suggest free espresso injections for all attendees at this point, but sadly, health and safety have a clause which limits the amount of caffeine you can legally give gamers, and at this point of the weekend, I think that many of you are actually over the limit. 26 years. That's the joint age Gregor and I when we were kidnapped from the streets and forced into a training cycle to run this event. Beaten with rule books until we could recite the terrible random dungeon generator from the back of the original Dungeon Master's Guide. Yes, forced to describe rhomboid rooms with a 60-degree inner angle filled with barrels. And taught that dice don't simply have 6 sides. Think Hunger Games, but with more paper, pencils and protractors. It was rough. We survived, and then we went and broke the rules, meaning the dreadful cabal is now hunting us down, causing us to have to split up and go to ground, until we roll a critical success. Talking of critical successes, we have Compulsion, and what a year 2013 has brought us. There is no easy order to give thanks. You've all been wonderful, but I'll give it a shot. Let's start with the exceptional selection of guests from all fields of the gaming industry. Kevin Beamers, Paul Bourne, Stu Wilson, Andy Dangerous Hepworth, Sam Richards, Pete Cakebread, Paul Scott Canavan, Scott Neal, Ian Lowson, plus the lovely surprise of Simon Burley contacting us and being so fully involved. I think I've learnt the best writing comes from Cider and Sunstroke, that Andy may not be as dangerous as first noted, and somehow got involved in writing the comedy musical sequel to 1984.
Tell them the title.
1985.
Yeah!
That was with some consideration in the pub. Demo teams including Crooked Dice, Mobile Frame Zero, but come on guys, put in a little effort. Full says Lego Mecca if you come next year. The young and talented Engrenage demo team who deserve special mention for being brave enough to come this way, but also by ensuring that they could cope with translating the game into a different language. Très bien, Engrenage. Très bien. Superb lots from regular contributors and the excellent Ornithocracy threw themselves into the convention and have asked if they can return next year if you want them. Yay! War games, board games, role-playing games were plentiful and full with people travelling far and wide to the con and saw displays from the Dawn Duelist Society and the Blackboard Swordsmanship School. Union of Genius for their wunderbar soup and their continued support to our charity. I love their attitude and involvement and may it never end. Thanks also to the Old House for their own food discount and to the exceptional TV staff, without whom this event would not be possible, especially Anne Hunter, as they have simply made everything fit, been available to contact and easy to deal with. Our traders yet again added a vital spark to our trade hall, and their donations to our charity are excellent and more than welcome. And as to Jason and Fiona for their excellent bring and buy stall and further donation. And finally, we should just ask Tevia in general, just thank Tevia in general, just friendly and helpful and simple from start to finish. We fit together like hand in glove. It's been a delight to work for you, or with you, indeed. As often happens, many of those mentioned have gone the extra mile to ensure our costs are low, and it's to Compulsion's credit and recognition that we maintain such a high calibre of guests, traders, demo teams and visitors. Nearly enough Dice podcasts simply solidified themselves as Compulsion's main broadcaster. Have you seen the YouTube videos yet? But we're ably joined by the wonderful Paco from the great GMS magazine and Scott Emsley from Screen Shaped Eyes. You are all welcome back. Well, as long as you say nice things. That's not controlling the press, is it? How could we do this without Brian and Janet running the charity auction? Possibly the only unit we could not auction for any money, as they're priceless. You do it next year, eh? Thanks to Jen for providing our Griffin for the 2nd year. She's done Gregor and myself proud. Finally, thanks go to my committee for their input in the whole process, but special mention indeed to Roderick and David for stepping in to run lots and finance respectively. Sam for not only running the blue shirts, but helping me to organise the final stages of the event. And Tara, who picks up everything else with a genial smile and considerate ear when I was struggling with some serious personal problems. It's a complete joy to only have to ask someone to do something once and see it completed before you almost finished asking. To our exceptional blue shirts, who are always jovial and approachable and being the solid glue that makes this convention airtight, which isn't quite what glue does, but you know what I mean. I'd ask you all to be upstanding for the Compulsion 2013 team. I've missed somebody, yes. Yeah, my partner in crime, Gregor. As Charles Dickens famously said,
I was at school with him.
What makes you way older than him?
it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Message, Spock? And you have been a rock through what has been a trying year for both of us. A solid friend and the staunchest of allies. We set out to broaden the remit of this convention and set a solid base for the future. The mediums of games is changing. It is vital that events like this change with it, to keep in touch with the user base and to keep growing while the economic crisis lurches forward, because when it ends and people have that extra cash to spend, this convention can just spread its wings. This would only have been a fraction of what we see without you, and I'll be happy to work with you again in the future. However, I know you are heading off now, and to avoid the cabal, and so, to protect you, I have gifts.
Oh.
So to protect you, I have the gifts of the patron saints of travel and adventure.
Oh, Tintin. I can't get one, Phil. Thanks. Oh, it's a Scottish Tintin.
Yeah, and because I know you have problems spinning a yarn, a book of story introductions for your adventures.
Oh, thank you so much, Phil. Hoping to impress an old flame, a North Korean scientist befriends a lifelike android. I'll have it out by Christmas. Thanks, Phil.
Finally, after I've finished, I know Ewan wants to say a couple of words, and then we have a pub quiz in the lounge bar where Craig Oxborough will delight you with his questions, ably assisted by Simon Proctor and Kat Tobin. Thanks to them.
Just Simon Proctor. I'm working to write stuff down. Fine.
John Wilson.
Yes.
well, change things, I don't know. Thanks to
She ably assisted earlier.
Okay. Thanks to them and for everybody for coming to Compulsion. It's been fun. I haven't buried anyone in continuing tram works. And I wish all the best to my successors. The ragamuffle has left the building.
Those of you who don't know me, I'm Ewan. I'm president of GACE this year, and one of the most important duties I get to do, and one of the most exciting and fun and wonderful duties I get to do, is to thank the Compulsion Committee. I'm not wearing a green shirt, you're secretly all colourblind. The Compulsion Committee they work tirelessly from about the start of the academic year until now, at basically increasing pace the entire time. And we don't want this to go thankless. So, my able assistants, the secretary and the librarian, we've got a couple of boxes of liquid assets that we would like to transfer to the committee immediately. Literally liquid assets. They are not the only ones who deserve particular calling out and mentioning. And because, as previously mentioned, we do like to embarrass people. Greg, could you come up here? Oh, you, Greg? Oh, Greg. So,
Do you remember
you? Hi, actually, Greg. So, Gregor has been an absolute star in organising the convention this year. And we are aware that we are going away on some adventures to inspire your next exciting role-playing system. So we thought we would get you a survival pack.
You need not opening it, Craig.
Have we got time for a robot?
It's a portable.
Oh, this is the sort of thing that if I'm ever washed up in some foreign clime, and Woodford Reserve Distiller Select.
Just so you can stay drunk.
Oh, and a miniature whiskey and some bubble wrap to play with. Awesome.
And lastly, and the opposite of leastly, fell. So, we've been running Compulsion for a couple of years now, and they've both been, I'm sure everyone will agree, outstanding. You've broadened our scope, you've brought in the likes of Chaos of the War, Joff's gone missing, to help with war games. Sasha has, there's been so many war games this year. And just generally, you've added a vibe and a drive and an enthusiasm that will be sorely missed when you go away to the Seychelles Islands to run Conpulsion East in November. So, as a little something to hang up on your wall inside Seychelles Islands, we had a little chat with a guy named Scott Neal, who's sitting somewhere. There he is. And inspired by something called Perdido Street Station, that's quite like the sci-fi horror games you all want to run, we got you this. Ooh.